The Cowboys made their pick at 12 last night. Many wondered if it would be a wide receiver. Teteroa McMillan had already been selected by the Panthers. Matthew Golden still on the board, but as you see right there, Tyler Booker was the choice. Check out Micah Parsons' reaction to the pick.
Tyler Booker, offensive lineman from Alabama, is the official pick out of the Crimson Tide.
Hold on. I am excited about the pick. This is one of them picks. I mean, wow, he is a beast. He is a beast. I just wanted to see that on my side of the ball.
Okay, by the way, no shade to Tyler Booker. He's an amazing player, and I think he's going to be great. But you saw Micah's reaction, Swagu. What was your?
I get Micah's reaction because when they drafted Tyron Smith, I was like, "Oh damn, practice about to be a mess." Nah, man, I know. A lot of us were thinking wide receiver, right? Yeah. And Carolina moves up to get Ted McMillan, and I think that's a great pick for them, especially the way they saw Bryce come along. But when they made this pick, I started thinking to myself, like, okay. You think about, you got the Giants twice with Dexter Lawrence on the interior. You got Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis in Philly. And obviously the Washington Commanders showed a lot of what they could do defensively on the interior as well, even though John Allen is gone, but Deron Payne is still there. You better be straight up your spine, especially with Dak, who's had some injuries over these last few years. So I like the pick. And a lot of the run game is about these guys. It's about those guards that can either move people around or get up to the second level on linebackers. He showed a lot of ability to do that at Alabama. I like this pick a lot, man.
Yeah, when Ted McMillan was taken, it was now going to be, how do you value Matthew Golden, or how do you see the rest of the pass catchers in the first round? But when you lose a Hall of Famer at the guard position, he needs to be replaced. And it brought me back to when Zach Martin was picked.
When
Johnny Manziel. When they decided that Johnny Manziel, we weren't going to go for the flashy thing, we were going to go for the right thing. And you have one of the all-time greats at the position. I think this is an excellent pick by the Dallas Cowboys, and understanding team building, which Jerry Jones and the Cowboys have done an excellent job through the draft throughout the years.
I'm going to maybe insult my colleague here, Field, because I believe us in the mock draft world, like, no one cares after the draft, like, what you had in your mock draft. I'm going to take a moment and say, I had this in the mock draft, all right? But just like fantasy football, which after the draft, no one cares about your team, and they start talking about my fantasy team, I just fall asleep. I'm like, I don't care. Let me explain what the thought process was behind it. You nailed it, RC. You lost not only Zach Martin, you lost Tyron Smith the year before. Those are the two veteran guys in the room. Everyone who's ever been around this Alabama program is like, this guy's one of one. Leadership. Now, they already have Tyler Smith. They already have Steele. You already have BB inside. None of those guys are like, follow me to war guys. This guy is that dude.
He started last night.
Last night he was talking that, and they had him there today. He's wearing his college number again. He's going to be wearing 52. He's fired up. He's one of these intensity guys. And if you know the Cowboys, that's what they have to do, and that's what they build.
All right, Field, so now you get a chance to do a victory lap on something that you picked that you got right that in your mock draft.
I wish I had a few more of those, Laura, but let me
I'm with you, dude.
You had some great ones.
We lost.
Right? Let's establish a few things. I
got one.
You got one? If any franchise deserves the benefit of the doubt with offensive line picks in recent drafts, it is the Dallas Cowboys. You mentioned Zach Martin. Travis Frederick was a much-panned pick at 29 overall. Even Tyler Smith, who they just picked up the fifth-year option on. So I want to say that because I want to establish that about the Cowboys. They deserve that benefit of the doubt. I had Tyler Booker at the top of the second round on my big board, and there's a very specific reason why. This is a below-average athlete for the guard position. Now, he is a hulking, massive human, pound for pound, the strongest player in the entire NFL draft is Tyler Booker. So is he a scheme fit for everybody? He's not. I don't know the board of the Los Angeles Rams or the San Francisco 49ers or some of those teams that play that outside zone scheme. I can't imagine they would have taken him at number 12 overall. It limited the number of teams that I think would have had first-round appeal for Tyler Booker. The Cowboys, the Chargers, the Ravens, those type of teams. So I would have had a little more comfort later in the round, but I understand that if it's going to happen at number 12, it was going to be a team that plays the style of what I expect the Cowboys to do on offense.
I want to ask Babyface, because, you know, we always talk about the NFL being a copycat league. You kind of draw, you use your division. I've always been told this. You use your division to kind of determine who those guys are. We need to accurately pinpoint
playing with Philly,
getting ready to the draft. Do you think Mekhi Becton had anything to do with this decision? Because he was, I don't think people have really given enough credit to how impactful he was in Philly.
Or how Jeff Stoutland was to coach him up to get him to
that point. So, and I bring that up, Babyface, because if you look at Dallas, our conversation was about no run game.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
Yep.
And you make this pick.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. It looks stiff in the hips. Not a guy that's going to get on the perimeter and do things. But up that spine, do you think that had anything to do with it?
I got to figure it has to play at least a part of the process for the Dallas Cowboys, identifying that 6 of your games each year, you're going to have to be damn good at that guard and center position. So, and I'm not trying to make this like speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but I will just note that during the pre-draft process, I had 2 separate GMs tell me that the best interview, bar none, that they did was Tyler Booker. Laura and I were with him last night. This is a Connecticut kid, so shout out to New Haven, Connecticut, Tyler Booker. He's a great kid. I just, relative to some of the other guards that I had on my board, that's how he fit into the vertical stack.
To that end, if you have not seen what he said about how he makes his opponents hate football,
yeah,
look that clip up.
Boy.
Also,
love go out their eyes.
Tyler Booker, look at him. Book's first look at the locker room there in Dallas. Just don't forget how special this is for these young men to have these moments.
We're going this draft ahead of Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, Lauren, if there's a message, perhaps a lesson learned from what could be happening to Shedeur Sanders tonight, it's that we make this vertical stack of player rankings. And I think that at other positions besides quarterback, it's largely relevant. Typically, the highest graded wide receivers or guards or linebackers go closest to the top of the board, Laura. But at quarterback, it's much more of a matchmaking exercise. Each team has a very specific preference and style of quarterbacks that they are going to gravitate towards during this process. So while myself and Mel Kiper Jr. and others may view Shedeur Sanders as the second best quarterback in this year's draft class, the Giants at the very least did not, and other quarterback-needy teams like perhaps the Cleveland Browns may not view him in that same light as well, so perhaps Shedeur's wait is longer than many of us anticipated.
All right, we'll see when it happens, and it should be tonight, all right? We're keeping an eye on that here on ESPN. Now, let's recap the wide receivers who went in the first round last night. The Panthers made a splash, selecting Teteroa McMillan 8th overall. Panthers now have used their last 4 first-round picks on offense. Xavier Legette, Bryce Young, and left tackle Ike Ekwonu. Now, the Bucs took Emeka Egbuka, number 19. It's a strength-on-strength addition for Tampa. Last year, Bucs wide receivers had 28 touchdowns, second most in the NFL, behind only the Bengals. And the home crowd went crazy. Mark Murphy announcing Matthew Golden as Green Bay's first-round pick.
Green Bay, it's time, baby. Hey, I'm finna bring that energy, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. Green Bay on 3. Hey, let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
He was ready for that. His grandma Penny had been praying the entire first round until that point. She was just praying. And finally, when it happened,